What's up, action takers? Welcome back to the show. Today, we're talking about goals for 2022. We're going to talk about why goals are important, some ways to actually achieve the goals, and I'm going to tell you my personal goals for 2022. This episode is going to be a must listen to if you're planning on taking action this year. Let's get into it. Hey, quick side note, if you are new here, this is the place that you want to be if you're taking action, taking control of your life so you can turn your side hustle into your primary income source. If that's you, you need to hit the subscribe button right now. And by the way, to all my Spotify listeners, you can leave reviews on Spotify now, so leave a 5-star rating. All right, cool. Let's get into it. So my goals this year are primarily professionally related, right? We can all lose a little bit of weight or spend more time with our family, and that's all important. That's definitely something that I'm going to be focusing on this year. But today I want to talk about my professional goals and how I actually plan to achieve them. Overarching, I think that my primary goals are going to be how I can improve my value in the marketplace. My goal, again, is to just really focus on the businesses that I'm building and leave the primary income source behind. Let's get the day job out of there. Let's really focus on what I love, what I'm passionate about. And all of that comes down to improving your value in the marketplace. And there's a few core concepts I think that are important to keep in mind if you're trying to improve your value in the marketplace, but also plan on making goals that are actually achievable. So let me just talk about a few of the things that I think are important and I'm going to be executing on to make sure that I actually achieve the goals that I set forth. The one thing that I think is really important is writing them down, making them public. I'm doing that obviously right here on video. You don't necessarily have to do that, and you don't necessarily have to make all of your goals public. Although I find that when you make your goals public, it gives you a little bit of push to actually make them happen because you're kind of responsible for the things you put forward. So I'll do things like posting it on Facebook. I'll be posting it here on the After Hours Entrepreneur Show, etc. But making goals public, I think, is something that I actually like to do. And a lot of people like to be super quantifiable about their goals. And I agree with that too, being quantifiable. And the reason I think that's important is because it's actually measurable. You can actually see if you're actually reaching that goal and achieving that goal. Now, not all of my goals are going to be quantifiable. Some of them are going to be like, I want to focus on this, or I want to learn about that. But I think that making a goal quantifiable with an actual number, an actual goal to set forth, an actual goal to achieve, I think it does actually make it easier to chart your progress and actually see if you've even made it there. The other thing I think is important is in this world, 2022, there's so many distractions. Everything is bleeping and blipping, and all the marketers want your attention. And that could really get in the way of you actually taking the action that you need to take to achieve your goals. So one of the things that is, I think, really important is being conscious of how you're spending your time. This past year, personally, I think I spent way too much time wasting time with junk content. So whether that's political stuff, comedy stuff, maybe just listening to music, all those things I think are relevant. And I'm still going to spend some time learning and listening and keeping up with what's happening. But there were definitely times where you can end up just binging on crap content that's not actually getting you towards your goal. I talked to Benji Travis about this when he was on the podcast a couple months ago. And quite simply, what you can do is you can just tell the algorithms what you want. Okay. So you can like videos that you want to see more of. Like, by the way, you should like this piece of content right now. That way YouTube will know to show you more of it, or whichever app you're watching or listening on. Tell the app that you actually want to hear more of this, see more of this, and you're going to get more of that. And I'm going to stop disliking or unliking and trying to push stuff that I'm not interested in, push it out of there, because I want to fill my head with stuff that's actually going to get me to a valuable place. I don't know if this sounds familiar to you, but there are definitely been days where I'm about to go to bed and I feel like I'm going to pop a headphone in, I'm going to listen to something, and maybe you're filling your head with something that's not actually positive. It's not actually good. My wife, shout out to my wife, Joanna. I love you very much. You are awesome. But she does this thing that drives me nuts. She'll go to sleep watching these shows like the 90 Day Fiance. And I don't know if you're familiar with 90 Day Fiance, but basically this show is just a train wreck. It's showing people whose lives is a train wreck and they're just yelling and screaming at each other. Like, I'll walk in every single time I walk in, all it is beep noises, hiding people's curse words, right? I don't think that that's healthy. I don't think that's healthy. So if junk in, junk out. If you put crap in your head, you're going to get crap out. So again, this is a really long way of me saying that be cognizant of the information that you're bringing in. Be aware of the people you're spending time with, because that matters. It really matters a lot, probably more than any of us truly understand. Okay, so I'm giving you this whole big lecture or explanation on how I plan on achieving my goals. But now let me actually tell you what my goals are. Some of them I think you might find surprising. And by the way, if you have your own goals, I want to hear them as well. So hit me up, contact@marksavantmedia.com. For everybody, if you're on YouTube, leave a comment below. I want to know what your goals are for this upcoming year. I'd love to hear about them. Okay, so let me get into what my first goal is for the year. And that's telling better stories. I've found that the most prolific and popular books, shows, they all have this narrative, okay? And in order to achieve that narrative, great stories are inserted along the way. And the stories are hugely, hugely powerful. It's very rare that people are going to remember something that you said, but they're going to remember how you make them feel. And if you're able to tell stories that drive forth that narrative that you're trying to tell, that you're trying to move the needle for people on, stories are a huge way to do that. It's absolutely huge for me this upcoming year. I'm going to learn how to tell better stories, tell more stories, and again, refining stories that I've already started telling you. If you've been listening to my show here, you probably have recognized that I'm starting to insert more storytelling into all the episodes that I'm producing. And I think that you should really consider telling more stories in your resolutions this year. Second goal is very much professionally related, and that's to have 10 clients on autopilot, 10 clients month to month paying for the podcast production services that we have here at Mark Savant Media. I've spent the last 4 years building out an incredible infrastructure on podcasting, and we finally built out this. By the way, it has been basically a train wreck this whole way. So if you're new, if you're getting started on your side hustle and trying to convert it into your full-time income, understand that this has not happened overnight. It takes a lot of time. I was speaking with Alex Sanfilippo, the founder of Podmatch, on the show earlier this week, and he explained that there was this time where he saved his corporate company a lot of money, millions of dollars. And he went to show his boss, look, boss, look what we did this year. We saved millions of dollars for the company. And his boss said, I don't know what to tell you, Alex. I'm really not happy. If you were planning on making a change like this, we needed to tell our shareholders so that they could have shorted the stock. And it was at that moment that Alex said, this isn't where I want to be. I want to make things better. I don't want to help rich fat cats short stocks for the company that I work for. That's not what I'm about. And it was at that moment he recognized that he needed to leave and go and move to something else. It took him 5 years to get there. Okay. This is not something that happens overnight. It took him 5 years to actually make that jump. So basically, this is a really long roundabout story way of saying that I've spent a lot of time building out these systems, and we're finally to a place where I'm incredibly proud. We've got a scalable system in place. We're helping clients get their shows out there. We're saving thousands of hours for clients to give them a more professional look. And I don't want to sit you and give you a hard sell, but I do want you to be aware that here at Mark Savant Media, we make podcast production simple and fun. And if you're a business owner, if you're trying to put your podcast on autopilot, that's something that we do very well here. And that's one of my main goals, to have 10 clients that just love what we do. They're on board and they're on a monthly retainer so that we can keep producing those shows week after week, month after month, year after year. And I also want to say that nothing, I think, gives me more joy than being part of creating something out of nothing. It's just, I don't know. It's something that's really important to me. Okay, resolution number 3 is to upgrade my studio. If you've been here from the beginning, if you're an OG, I think I started this program about 3 years ago. Well, on YouTube and then the podcast after I was an entrepreneur a little bit later. But anyway, you'll recognize that my studio, the equipment, my presence, everything is improved. But this is probably a no-brainer, but I want to continue to improve the studio. Better lighting, better audio. This boom arm needs to go. Holy crap, this $20 boom arm, this is like my OG. I might frame it one day, but it's just getting too rickety and creaky and we got to do away with it. So anyway, one of my resolutions this year is to really dramatically improve the lighting in here and create a better product. And again, if you're in podcasting, if you're in content creation, we should always be striving to create better content. And this year's no different. It's definitely high on my list of things to do. You deserve it, don't you think? I think you deserve it. I think you deserve the best. And that's what I'm going to give you. Okay, this fourth resolution is an ugly one. It's a nasty one. It's one that I've been very remiss to do, and that's improve my bookkeeping, improving my accounting. Every year when taxes roll around, and you could probably empathize with this as a business owner if you're creating your side hustle, taxes suck. They are not fun. And I've done a really poor job, I think, up to this point of managing the books. So this year we're going to get QuickBooks, which, listen, you can razz me if you want online, wherever, say, Mark doesn't have a QuickBooks for his business. What the heck has this guy been doing? I know. I'm sorry. Lonnie, my accountant, I'm very sorry. I haven't been using QuickBooks, but this year QuickBooks is happening, and I'm just going to really focus on cleaning up the accounting and the bookkeeping for my business, because every year it's like, okay, it's time to do taxes. I'm going to spend 8 hours in a dark, dank room, sweating, cursing, just all this stuff. I don't really curse that much, but you get the picture. It sucks. Taxes suck, and accounting sucks. But it's incredibly important. It's incredibly important. And I've recognized that I've probably left a lot of money on the table because of my poor bookkeeping. So that's something we're going to improve. We're going to get QuickBooks. Again, quantifiable, non-subjective goal. We're going to start QuickBooks this year to improve the bookkeeping. Also, shout out to Chris Doe from Over the Future. I just bought his course package, which it just includes tons of great resources, everything from finding clients to bookkeeping to contracts, a lot of really great stuff. It was like $400. So I consider that a steal. Quite frankly, I think there's a lot of really bad courses out there, but I don't think anyone does it better than Chris Doe Over the Future. Shout out, Chris. That's actually one of my goals. I want to get Chris Doe on the show this year. So wish me luck. And if you know him, hook me up with a connection, because Chris, you are a master, brother. I've learned a lot from you, and I hope to bring you on the show here soon. All right, the next goal for this year is reading one book per month. This past year, I read probably more books this last year than I ever have. And I read like 5. So not that many books reading this year. And don't get me wrong, I used to read books, but more for either A, so I could actually pass a test, or because of entertainment purposes. I just wanted to read a book for fun. This year, I want to focus on one professional business related book or leadership book, something along those lines per month. So that's another goal. My last goal here, I think, is probably the most important goal of all. And that's diving into Web 3.0, into blockchain, into crypto, into NFTs, into the Metaverse. And I know what you're saying, Mark, it's not real, or you're just jumping on this bandwagon. That's, just who's going to pay money for JPEGs? This is stupid. I just want to let you know that I'm 38. I'll be 39 in a few weeks. And I've been around pre-internet, right? I woke up and we used to read the funnies in the newspaper. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have smartphones. By the way, if you can empathize with that, leave a like and a comment. But I grew up in a different world, and I remember very vividly when the World Wide Web is going out and all that AOL, you're doing this dial-up lock-in thing. When you're actually logging in online, I remember people starting to put stores online, selling things online, and people were like, this is the stupidest thing ever. People will never buy stuff online. Now, you buy everything online. I bought my mattress online. People are buying cars online, clothes online. You could buy just about anything online. And I think that is what Web 3.0 is going to be. It's something that seems very obscure right now. People don't fully understand it, myself included, but I can see the seeds there. I can see the fruit. It is going to be huge. It is going to be absolutely huge. I remember, just another quick story, when I was a young kid and we got our first computer and it was a POS. I remember that first computer and playing this game Wolfenstein. It was like a 3D shooter game where you would walk down these halls and you were shooting Nazis and stuff like that. I was like, this is amazing. I feel like I'm being transported into this other universe, and I love that game. And then as more games came out and the games became better embedded, like Myst, and then World of Warcraft, GTA, all these games like progressively came out. And that's because the ability to be transported to another world, into another universe, is incredibly powerful. And that, my friends, is what's happening with Web3. I think that this tidal wave is coming, and you can either choose to be swept underneath it, or you can ride the wave all the way down to the beach where there's a bunch of people with trophies and hot women. And it's Web 3.0 is for real. And this is actually one of my promises to you. This upcoming year, I'm going to be creating practical content around what it actually means and what it actually is going to, how it's actually going to impact you in your life. Because right now, as I go out and I try to find content about Web 3.0, it's very scattered. It's hard to put the pieces together. And it's really a bunch of 20-year-olds just like talking mumbo jumbo. It's like they're talking in a different definitions that I have a hard time following. And so I want to dive in and I want to try to help interpret that and find ways to make that practical for the everyday person. I can't tell you how often I'm hearing people ask about NFTs, and I know a little bit about NFTs. I know enough to know that the majority of them are just Ponzi schemes and they're just crap assets, but there is something there and it's going to be huge. And you can either choose to wait until it makes sense, or you can get in on the ground floor. And so that's something that I'm 100% committed to doing. And the real turning point for me when it came to the metaverse and Web3 was when I saw Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook make the announcement of going from Facebook to Meta. And I saw the videos and I saw what they were working on. And I see the vision. It is going to be, it's going to be life-changing for a lot of people. And I think that's, for me, what the After Hours Entrepreneur is all about. That's what side hustling is all about. It's about not sitting back. It's about taking the action. It's about taking steps forward to learn about what comes next. It's really easy to get caught up in, podcasting started 15 years ago. It's too hard to stand out now. Or Instagram is saturated. Or I'm not actually getting any likes in my Facebook. Listen, social media is still important, but it's pretty saturated. We have a mature Web 2.0 internet. Web 3.0 is being built now. So you can either get on the ground floor now, or you can look back in 10 years and wish that you did. So those are my goals for this upcoming year, 2022. I want to hear your goals. Shoot me an email, contact@marksavantmedia.com. Leave a comment below. Oh yeah, and by the way, one of the things that I really want to do, I didn't even mention this, one of my goals for this year is to get on calls with you. I want to talk to you, the fans, the viewers, the listeners. I'm not here to sell you, but I want to know more about you and how I can help serve you in different ways. Because at the end of the day, that is my primary goal. It's how can I add more value to the marketplace? How can I become more valuable to the marketplace? And at the end of the day, that is what being an After Hours Entrepreneur is all about. All right, we'll catch you here next time. Keep taking action. Please keep taking action. Special shout out to Dave over at Upcycle in Canada. I just got off the phone with him a little bit earlier today. Always listening to the show, every new episode, and he is taking action. He's listening to episodes, he's taking 2 or 3 tips, and he's executing. So shout out to Dave at Upcycle Canada. I'm going to give you a link below because I really love what you're doing there. All right, catch you here next time on the After Hours Entrepreneur. Go take action. I'll catch you next time. Peace.